and we were discussing about the SQL, and we were halfway through in the previous session, and we were looking at varieties of characteristics of the various table creation and what are the various options we have while creating. We can implement so that the creation of a table becomes easy for us. All right, so in which we had seen in the, I think the last topic we were discussing about the not null and the unique, right, as you can see over here. Okay, so what we'll do, we'll continue from this section, this part itself, and in the next topic, right, I want to introduce what is called as a default value. All right, so as the name suggests, right, as the name suggests, default value is you can use a default value whenever a particular value is not entered, right? For example, let's start with the, let's check that whether we have a table by this name. I'll try to run that. Okay, so if there is a table, we'll try to remove the table, and let me check. So it's in a drop position, so something you have, it will be dropped. Okay, so yes, it's dropped. Now I'll make changes in the, I'll make the required changes now. Okay, so the required changes is like this. I have the student ID, that's fine for me. We also have as you can see, the name is given, which is it's a variable character type. I'll remove the not null part. Okay, and the major, which is a variable character of size 20, it was unique. Now I'll remove it. I don't want it to be unique, right? But let us say whenever somebody enters a creates a table, right, student ID is must, because we are making that as the primary key, right? And the name, right, mostly everybody will enter, let's say it's you, right? And when we go to the major, there is an option that somebody uh, whose table, I'm trying to make a table of a student, and let me assume that I don't know what is the particular major a student has taken. All right, so in such case, I can use the, I can use what is called as a default. Okay, when somebody is not entering a value, right, that means that value will be assigned, whatever default value you assign will be going to that position. For example, let me say that it is I can say that student has not decided, let me assume, right? So student has not decided, so it's an undecided case. Either student enters that value, or it will become a, it will directly go into that as a undecided value. Okay, so I create the table, let me see, right? So that creation will take place, and when I enter the value, let me go to the first student's value, and I'll try to make sure that that value itself is default value. I'll try to make it default. Okay, so insert into the student. Here itself I'll mention that what are the values I'm entering, right? I know that I can enter the student sorry, my mistake, student ID. This is the one I'm going to enter. I'm also going to enter the name of the student. Okay, student name, right? So these are the two things I'm going to enter, right? Values will be just, let's say, all right, so only this part, right? You see, I'm actually not adding the value that is corresponding to the where char, which is the major, right? I'm not entering the major, right? So it has to become a default value now, and it should get entered into the table, right, in the form of undecided, right? So we'll run this particular query, right? It says one row got affected, and in order to see that, I know that I have to click this, right? Because select, that's actually star stand for all. I'll come to that when we discuss the select statements. All right, so just click on that. So you see the ID is 1, student name is given as Bharat, right? But the major still says that it is undecided, right? It says undecided because I mentioned that, okay, if somebody is not entering a value for this part, right, it should be taken as the default value, which is undecided. Okay, so undecided can be used, right? If at all you want to say that, okay, there is a chance that this particular value people may not enter, or right, if there is a chance of not knowing that data, you can put something undecided over there. Right, so something default over there, and then you can change it, right, when you actually come to know about that data in reality, right? So this option is there, which is called as a default. Okay, one of the very handy option in this. Okay, in addition to this, right, I'll show you one more very important feature which we can commonly use whenever we have the one of the key, that particular column, right, and we are entering the numbers over there, right, and you can make sure that automatically it gets incremented. You don't have to enter that value every time, right? For example, let's consider the primary key, which is the student ID. Okay, so in this, right, I'll try to make a change, right? So the change is student ID, then I write int, right? After that I'll write, you see this is it's a keyword, auto increment. All right, so that means it will be incremented automatically, right? You don't have to increment that. That's the meaning of this. And okay, let me remove this part. Anyway, we understood what do you mean by the default values. Okay, so let's try to uh, do this. So first I already have created a table, so I just have to drop it, right? I'll just drop this table. All right, then I create a table. I run this. Now you see when I try to add the various uh, various entries to the table, I will not mention, right, the student ID at all. All right, so instead of that, right, I'll simply add the other components only, right? Student name, major, student name and the major. All right, so just repeat this, right, for all the others. Okay, so student, I'll just write this part. Okay, control, I'll copy and paste so that we can save some time, right? I'll just do this. Let's see. Okay, and just remove this part. Okay, as we know, this has, right, I think this is what we entered at the beginning, right? So let's give it in the same way, right? We'll enter the name, sorry, we need, okay, and also, all right, so let me insert the this thing one by one.
For line 18,
Yeah, sorry, I should remove this, right? Okay, yeah, thank you. That's fine, that's nice. Okay, so this is what happened. I don't want this, let's see.
I think so, sir. You need to put a ending quote also to the three. So single quote is open, but single quote is not closed. Third line,
Yeah,
18 row.
okay, perfect. That's right. So I should close this, right? Okay, that's fine. Okay, so let me add even the another line to this. So here I will remove this. Okay, so let me add the lines one by one and we'll check what's going to happen right on the other side. So first let me insert this. So you can see one row affected. I'll check that. So you see the number one, it's actually, there is no default, like you cannot start from a midpoint, right? But if it is always starting from 1, 2, 3, 4, you can do this, right? It's a very handy because most of the time keep 1, 2, 3, 4 as the key itself, right? Primary key. So if that is the case, you can use this, right? Okay, then let's move ahead. Let me run the second one and just check what's going to happen. It will add that automatically. So the two student ID became 2 for the second case, and so on. All right, so I'll run the next query. I'll visualize. Okay, so you can see third one, then the click on the fourth, right? Run that and come back and visualize. Okay, so we can see that, right? Like this, we can enter. Now you see the auto increment came in very handy. I saved some time in typing that. Okay, that's the only difference you have, right? So auto increment is another feature, right? We'll move one step ahead, wherein my intention is now to use the concept of either updating the table or deleting the table. All right, so this is our objective, right? So let's do one thing. Okay, let me add another row here, right? I think we have 1, 2, 3, 4 rows. Let me add another row and then we'll start updating. Okay, fine. So the next one I'm going to add is insert into, right, the student, right? I want to copy the same thing, so it's a student name and major. All right, with values. Let me write and let me add again. So there is no unique, right? Okay, so if there is no unique, I can try to enter something which already exists, right? So, or I can add a new thing, say science. All right, so we'll add this as well. So I'll run this part and also I'll just visualize to confirm. Right, so 5 things we have added, right? And now let's go for the next concept, that is called as either you update or you delete something from this. Right, the first thing is update. All right, the first, in order to update something in the table, the keyword that we are going to use is update. All right, so update, I have to tell which table you are referring to, because right now we are having only one table, but right, there will be a case wherein we are going to handle multiple tables. Right? There will be many tables, right? So in such cases, I need to specify which table I am talking about. Okay, so that's the first thing, right? Then I have to use what is called as what is the change I want to. For example, let me say I want to change the major of one particular student, right? Either that's the case. Otherwise, I want to say whatever subject was provided, right? The university changes the subject. It's not available. You don't have to look who is changing. Just look at that column. And whenever I have a particular subject, change that to a new subject. This is what is my target right now. Not depending upon the name. Okay, a person's subject needs to be changed. That's not my objective right now. Okay, I'm going to come to that later. Right now, I'll see only one column, say major. Right. So in that, I want to change one of the subject. Wherever I see a subject, say Sanskritam is there, I want to change it. Right. So I want to set to a new value. So the keyword is set. Right. So set, the name of that particular column needs to be mentioned, which is major. Set major equal to, let's say, Hindi. Right, upon some condition. So the condition needs to be mentioned here is that you just have to say that wherever I see the word Sanskritam, change that into, right, the new thing here. So already it's set major equal to whatever is the new thing you want to add. For example, it's Hindi. I just have to say now that change this in the following fashion. Where is the another keyword? Where major equal to okay. So wherever there is a Sanskritam, change it into Hindi is what we are saying here. All right. So let's run this and then we'll see. So it says that two rows affected. We understood that by seeing this, right? There are two such conditions, Sanskritam, it should get changed. All right, so we'll visualize that by clicking at the line number 12 where we wrote select all from the student and we'll see. Okay, so you can see that the particular values where you had which met the conditions we mentioned over there, they have been changed. This is the first thing we want to learn under the update category. All right, now let's look at a different way. Say one of the student changes his particular subject. Right now the condition is different. You see, previously I was looking at the column name and how much ever occurrences of Sanskritam were there, we replaced it with him. But now you see, let us say there was a student, say I will identify him or her by student ID. So specific student with a specific student ID changed the major subject. I want to update that. So how do you do that? We are going to do that. This is how you do that. Okay. So the next part is this. So once again, it follows the same notations. Okay. Update. Requirement will be which table first. Okay. Once you know which table it is, you have to say that what is the change that you want to do. All right, so that will be set once again major equal to, right? Say I'll change, say maybe arts. All right, so a particular student changes, right? Let's say you. So where I don't want to look at the column name now, the student ID. All right, so where the student ID becomes equal to say 2, right? That's a complete query now. Let's run. So it runs and you can see that one row affected because now we are talking about a unique student, right? Identified by a student ID, right? So just verify this. I'll run this part. So you see the student ID number 2, previously it was music, now it is changed to arts, right? So, right, that's the second step, right? We normally use in order to update. All right. So now you see, right, we can do another type of update depending upon 2 or 3 conditions. Right? So let me just check what we have over here, science and technology. Okay, let me give another this thing over here. So you see this, depending upon 2 things I'll try to update. So this is update student, set major equal to science and technology. I want to update to this, right? Where now you see, where in the table on the right hand side, I can see that there is one entry which is technology, another entry science. So either you have science or you have technology, both of them I want to update. Okay, so it should be where major equal to, so how did I write science S capital, right? Okay, it's a science. Now you see I'm using a logic here. Logical functions you are aware of, right? So any logical function you can write here. So and, or, and, nor, etc. definitely supported. You can use it. So here I'm going to use or, right? So either this is the case or the major equal to, right, technology. I think T capital, yes. Right. So now you see this is another type of, right? Depending upon multiple conditions, whichever meet over there, also you can use it to update. All right. So it says 2 rows got affected because of this. Let's visualize. All right. Yes. So we can see that row number 3, student ID 3 and student ID number 5, they have been updated. Okay. Right. Now we see, right, we can actually, yes, all
Excuse
the
me, sir.
yeah, all the logical operations are supported here. Okay. So right, any logical operation you want to use, you can use. Right. Okay. And yeah, who is asking question? Yes, Utkarsh.
So, yes, sir. So I just wanted to ask, we are writing these sets of line like update, set, and where in 3 separate line. Can this be written in just one line and
Yes,
executed?
yes. True,
Because
true.
it's a single statement, right?
True. So what I'm following is the actually this is called as the convention in which you write a SQL, right? You see that capitals, whatever is there, right? That will come to a new line saying that okay, update this. This is something you want to change. Where this is how the conventional code is written. That's all. But there is definitely no rule saying that you have to write all the 3 lines. Okay, single line is
Okay,
definitely.
and so one more thing, while we are writing update, set, and where, can this be written in like small letters as well?
Yeah, small letter is definitely recognized. Okay, by default it will recognize. As I told, if you remember what
Because
we discussed yesterday,
you are writing everything in caps only, so that's why I asked.
no, I think I
Because
cleared
it's not
that
case
part
sensitive,
yesterday
right?
itself, because yesterday itself, if you remember, I told that it's a convention to write the capital letters, right, for the those words which SQL understands, right? Whatever is detected as a keyword, it's a convention in the on the technological side that you write it in the capital. That's it. But I clearly mentioned that you can write lowercase if you prefer. Definitely, no problem. Program will help.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sure. Okay. Yesterday we can write the code without mentioning where, set, etc. Not exactly that. I think I'll be able to answer that slightly later, Manish. Okay. And Gaurav is asking, how can we change the major only for one field? The first example was that, right? We simply changed that, only one term. All right. And right. So just give one condition saying that, okay, if the language is equal to this thing, only change that, right? So just look at that and you can change. All right. Okay, let's proceed further. Now, uh, let me show you. Can you change two things simultaneously? Will be maybe that's the upcoming question that you might have, right? Change or to and in line number 34. Yeah, please actually see. I have so many things to cover. Major topics I'll definitely cover. Right? These changes you can do by yourself when you get the this whole version on your side. Okay, Gaurav. So it will work. Okay, you can change and not x not etc. Many things it will definitely work. Okay, don't worry about that. So important things are there, right? So I want to go ahead, right? Okay, so the next thing I want to show you how to change two things based on some condition. Now, so all right, so let's go for another update over here. So update student, and in this case, I want to set, right? I will change two things, right? So first thing is that let's say I want to change the name, right? So say the student name, that's the first thing, and let me change this to, all right, let's change the name, right? This is the first thing I want to change. I also want to change major, Okay, so want to change the major, let us say, right? We'll change the language, right? Under a condition where, right, I will check that the student ID. All right, so student ID is equal to 1. Okay, so update the table student where name has to be, name has to be written in this way. Name should change to this, and major will also change to a new topic, right? Wherever you see the student ID becoming equal to 1. So student ID corresponding to that, it will change. All right, so let's run this. One row got affected, yes, and you see this, right? So corresponding to one particular key, everything on that row you can also change, right, if required. So various types of these things are possible. All right, and we have a question. Let's see. Somesh Kumar downloaded the software, but file coming in zip format and setup is not available. I'm not very sure about that, Somesh Kumar, because when
Sir, I am
when we
trying.
clicked on that, when we click on that, directly we get the MSI form. So simply click on the MSI, it got.
नहीं सर, आपने जो लिंक दिया, मतलब जो शेयर किया था, स्क्रीनशॉट मैंने लिया, तो सेम टाइप करके सेम, बट मेरे में विंडो 11 है और जिप फॉर्म में ही आ रहा है. आई कंसिडर 1-2 फ्रेंड्स, बट माय जिप फॉर्मेट में ही आ रहा है सर.
I'm not sure about that because what is stored on their side and what is downloading to your computer, right? I'm not able to guess what is happening. So as you know, I have taken a snapshot of that and I've showed everything, right? So in my system, not only my system, others also, many people, right, whoever said that, they clicked on that and they could download that, right? So I'm not very sure. Try once again, or if you need any help, you put me a mail through the LMS and I'll see what I can do. Okay? Yes.
Hello, sir.
Yes. Who is talking?
Sir,
Yes, Mohan.
yes, sir. I'm Mohan, sir.
Yes, Mohan.
Yes, can I share the screen, sir?
Sorry, I'll give it some time during maybe close to the break and give you a this thing. Okay, so as of now, right, screen sharing, I may not be able to visualize an answer because I want to go with the flow, right? If there is any doubt with this, I will definitely answer. Anything other than that, maybe at a later stage. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Yes, sure. Okay.
Hello,
So yeah, so we'll proceed. Anybody else?
Yeah, hello, sir.
Devendra. Yes, Devendra.
Yeah, sir, this serial number 36. Sir, particular in this program,
Okay.
we are going to change like according to name, like measure also, sir. Entire line we are going to change, sir.
Yeah, we are changing in that particular table. We have, right, several rows and 3 columns, right? So based on a value in one column, right, whoever is having number 1, all the 2 columns are changing, right? You can keep adding this. If at all the table had few more, right, columns, you can definitely change that. Okay, that's correct. What you told is right. My intention is to change the whole thing. All right.
So row now according to row number 1, all column will change.
Yes. So whatever column name I mentioned, it will change. So I want to show that how do you change multiple columns simultaneously. So you just have to mention the name here. As you can see, this is the name, right? This is the column name. This is the other column name. And whatever we are writing here are the new values that needs to be right, substituted over there.
Okay, got it.
Okay, right. Okay. Let's proceed further. So the next thing is that, right, I can also change the whole column at once. Let's see, right? So it's a rare case, but that is still that's going to exist. You can do that. All right. So the next one is update student, and I will simply set. Sorry. Let's go to the new line. Set major equal to, right? So let's change this. Let's see what's going to happen now. I'll just run this. All right, as you can see, rows affected equal to 5. So everything must have been changed, right? So that's what is the indication here. So you can change the whole column in a single step. Okay, so everything over there will get updated. So as I told, a rare case, but right, if needed, definitely you can use.
But here you didn't mention the semicolon, sir.
Sorry.
Here you didn't mention the semicolon after Kannada. So still it worked. They should have given the failed, right?
No, as I told, right, these tools are actually, right, they are there. Yesterday also I did something like that in one of the code, right? If you remember, I didn't write a semicolon, right? But the SQL way of writing that is, yes, you need to write a semicolon. Okay, if I don't write a semicolon, what happens if you have only this particular command, this particular query, no problem. But you see what happens if I let's say, as you told, you identified it correctly, I should have written. But for all the previous this thing I have written means it will consider, okay, he might have missed it, let's take it out, let's take that, okay, it's a proper query and it will run. For running there is no problem as of now, but there is a catch. So if at all I don't write this and I keep writing something else here, right, still that will be considered as the same query. You see here, right, whatever you enter over there will be still considered as the, oh sorry, mistake, will be still considered as the same query. So in order to identify that the query is over, you have to put a semicolon. All right, okay. Now you see, when I write something else, it will, this the whole green line what you see there, right, it will vanish. Okay, so let me move to the next one so that I can show you this. Right now, so updations are mostly of these types, whatever we are going to deal at a later stage when we particularly consider a database, will be using mostly these, right? So these are widely used, many others are also there, but as of now let's move ahead. Okay, so let me show you how to delete. Now you see, actually it considers this as the new query, as you can see, right? So the consideration which was starting from line number 40 till 45 is changed just to 43 onwards, because it identified that, okay, there was a semicolon, means it's a new query. All right, so this is the simplest type of delete, right? I have to use the keyword delete from, right, delete from, right? Again, the requirement is first you need to tell which table, so it's student, right? Then it is expected that you need to tell what you want to delete, right? So again, the where keyword comes into picture, right? I will say that student ID equal to, say I have 5, yeah, the last one which I added I want to delete. Okay, again I'll put a semicolon just to say that for running purpose no problem, but when I write multiple queries, yes, you need to write that, otherwise it will throw that. Okay, so let's see what's going to happen. Right, one row got affected, so let's try to visualize that. All right, so line number 12 has that. Okay, now you see you have only 4 rows left over. Okay, so that's the first type of the delete, which I consider as the simplest form of a delete. Okay, now, right, I can also delete, right, another thing, right, depending upon either you use name and the rows, in the sense I want to delete, I don't know the student ID, let us say, but I know the other details, like other 2 columns or 3 columns data you know about. So you can even use them and you can delete. All right, so this is how you use, right? Somebody asked to use a and condition, now I'll try to use it. Okay, so delete from student, right? And I'll say where, let's say I want to delete which one I have, the last one, I'll say, so the student name equal to okay, where the student name is equal to 1. Now you see I bring the and, because right, only that last row has 2 conditions met over there. Okay, and major is equals to, all right, let's see again, a semicolon, so you can see 1 row got affected, right? And that should be the last row. Now I should be having 3 rows as expected. Okay, so that's another form of deleting, right? And right, I'll show you another one. This is interesting. All right, so this is what do you expect? Will it run? Yes, it's going to run, and it will. It says that all the 3 rows got affected. So what do you expect? If I see the table, no result. Table is there, but no entry. Okay, everything you can erase in a single shot by using this. Okay, so that's about what you call as the addition, the modification in the table. You can update, right, or you can delete, right? This happens in the following option.
So can you scroll down for a second? This page.
This page.
Delete
yes, definitely. Right. Okay. Yeah.
So one second.
Okay, there is a question. Meanwhile, Deepak asked that will you give this the file to practice? Yes. So this particular code, whatever we are writing, right, you will get it. Also, I have prepared a PPT, right, which you saw yesterday. Also, we are going to use the PPT at a later stage today as well. So you'll get the complete PPT where I already have added all these whatever code I am writing in the form of right. The slides also exist over there where you can see the code and its output on the right side. That also you will get. Okay, even if you are not able to run the code, but I don't want you to miss what exactly happens over there, so you will get that as well. So those who are not able to run at this given point of time, you can still refer this whole thing. Okay, so that's one thing. All right.
So we are using POP SQL, right?
Correct.
This is POP SQL, right?
Yes. It's POP SQL what I'm using.
And sir, what about MySQL?
No, MySQL it's already been installed. It's a database management system. You don't have, it's not a coding language. Okay, MySQL is the one which is like a RDBMS, relational database management system, where you can write a database, you can create a database. Okay, but to interact with that database, right, you need to have another software like this POP SQL, which can understand the SQL comments or the queries we write. Now, whatever I'm writing here, right, it is actually interacting with the database which I created and it is present in my system. Okay. It is actually interacting with MySQL to get these answers. I'm saying that, okay, modify, delete, right, do something. Whenever I say, actually it is being performed on the MySQL, which is already installed, and that was the first step we did. Okay, so to interact, you need another software which has a text editor which shows you a result on in some fashion, etc. Right? So this is that's why we are using 2 things. So MySQL is already being used. Okay, all right. Yes, any other doubt? Let's proceed. Right, we have many things to see. Okay, today. So let me go to the next one. So here we'll start with the simple queries. All right. So this is the next step, right? So what I want to do, right? I'm asking the machine. I'm asking my database saying that. So show me what are the names you have in the table. Okay. So student names are what I'm asking. So for that, this is the command. Select already has been used. Select star, we saw that, but I'll come to that. But now I'm just introducing it, right? So select, right? I can say that which particular column you want to see, right? So student name, right? I want to select this, but from where? Obviously that question will be there always. So that part needs to be answered in the form of from, right? What is it? It's a student, right? Okay, as of now it will not run because there is nothing in that, right? So I just have to add some things here. Okay, let me add few things maybe. right? For something, let me add. So let me add this. As you can see, one row got affected. Let me add a few terms, okay? So because I deleted everything, right? So it will not show anything if I don't run this, right? So that's also, let's add all the 5 names. Okay, so now you can see that, right? It's there, right? As of now, if I show you the select all, right, and I run, it shows there are 5 rows, but that's not my objective. My objective is to run line number 51. It says select only the student name from the table student. Now you see, right? You can see only one thing, right? Only the particular column which you want to see is that. So select whichever column name you want, you can specify, only that will be displayed, right? So this is actually the first simple query. Right now we are starting with the query. I will introduce more and more keywords as we proceed further. Okay, so that's the first thing. Okay, next, right, I can also ask, right, if at all you have, say, 1 2 3 4 5, many columns are there, you can ask machine to show you multiple columns as well. Okay, so in this case, anyway, as of now we have only maybe 3 columns, out of which I will choose 2 of them, right? I don't want to display the student ID, but others. Okay, select, right, I can write, okay, select the student name. You have to separate with a comma. Okay, whatever terms you write here, you need to separate. Okay, I want to see the major as well. Okay, from student. So okay, you see the problem here, right? I never gave a semicolon to the previous one, so it takes everything as a single query. Now you see it got rectified. All right, so that's the only issue with the semicolon. With the tools like this pop SQL, it's actually advanced. It will run even if you don't give a semicolon. But right, when you have multiple lines, right, then there will be a problem. Okay, now it's rectified. Right, let's run this. So you see, student name and the major are getting displayed. So that's the next type of the simple query. All right, so let's move ahead one step. Now, what if I want to visualize, say, the name of the student and the major, but I want to do some type of sorting. All right, so you understand the sorting, right? So normally when the text is there, it's going to be either it's going to be alphabetical, right? So we'll see the first step. By default, what it's going to perform, we'll see. Then we'll ask for our requirement. All right, so first one is the sorting default technique. Okay, now, all right, so select, in the sense I want to visualize 2 things. All right, first thing is the same as the previous one. That's a student name, comma, the major. Right, so actually you can bring this from to the next line, as I told. That's a convention, right? Anyway, now I'll do that, right? But as you see, right, it can be, if you are not comfortable writing that, definitely you can bring it to the same line. All right, so from, if I just do this, it's the same as the previous case. Okay, but now you see, I'll make another change here, right? So I am going to ask to sort it by saying that order, right? Order by, right, which particular column you want to consider for this particular arrangement, right? I'll say that use the student name for that. Okay, right, let's see what's going to happen. Oh, it's already it was already in the ascending order format, right? So we are not able to visualize that. I'll go to the next part, right? So what I do, you have an option to write either ASC for ascending. It's already in the ascending, so I'm not able to visualize that for sure. So what I do, I'll write descending DESC. Okay, DES. Yeah, it says that DESC there. All right. So simply specify that. Do this, but descending order. Ascending by default, it is ascending. Since our table was in the same already in the that particular format, we are not able to visualize. All right. Yeah, so we have a question here. Swapnil asking, commands are unique for, no, it's a SQL command. Anywhere, any software you use for SQL, this will work. Okay, what I'm teaching is not specific to any tool. It's a SQL itself. What you are learning here is SQL, right? Not a pop SQL is just a tool, right? Which understands SQL. So what I'm writing here is SQL. All right. Okay. So I'm running that. Now you see, it's a descending order in the sense from the last to the first, right? From, in this case, the
Hello, sir.
M is the last one and MIDDB
Sir?
is the order. Yes, sir.
Sir, we have used SQL and PopSQL, this unique language.
SQL is the language I'm writing here, right? That is SQL.
Okay.
Okay, the software, the screen, what you see, right? That is a PopSQL.
Okay.
The screen is called as
Okay.
PopSQL. Okay, PopSQL is not a language; it is a software.
Okay, sir.
All right.
Okay.
Fine. So ascending, descending is over. You also understood that default is ascending. When I don't mention that, right, it will do the ascending order by default. You can change to any column, right? So change the columns according to your ascending order. Now I say according to the major, if you ascend, right, things will change.
Sir, I have one question, sir.
Yes, Manish.
How this command descending by order is affecting, like, can you please explain?
Yeah, sure. You can see here, this was the original one. Okay, original data, right?
Right.
You can see here, it is descending in a sense, whichever was the last came to the first. Descending means that, right? Whatever is last comes. That's all. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Fine. All right, then let's go ahead, and descending is over. Now you see, I'll say that I want to select everything, right? Now see, in this case we selected only two columns in our table. Now when you want to select everything, you know the method, it's a star. Okay, so but since we never discussed the select star so far, I'm going to solve one query related to that. So select, when you say star, right, I know now. So far we have used it. Whenever I want to see the complete table, I use this, right? So select star means the whole table will be selected, right? That's the first point. But I don't want to simply go for that, right? I want to do a sorting as well. Let's see. Okay, so select all. So star, you read it as all. Okay. From my mistake. Okay, from student. Then not just this. If I say this, everything will get displayed, right? So just look at the line number 12 we had used earlier. But what I want to do, I want to change this, right? So I want to go for order by the student, say ID, and that should be descending. So what do you expect? It was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the table. Sorry, it should be 5, 4, 3, 2. Let's run that. Okay, so it's coming from last to one, right? It's just because already we created the table twice or something. How did it become 10? Let me check that once, because how the student ID changed. Did we change somewhere? No, I guess, right?
So we did not change the student ID.
Yeah. Let's check that once. Let me something in the middle, something changed. All right. So let me first delete, right? The rows affected is 0 because it's everything got deleted. Then create. Let's go for the creation. This thing is done. Second row, third row. row number 4 and row number 5. Okay, so then I'll visualize once. So yes, this is what is the case. Now I'll come to this, right? So select everything from the row, but arrange it in this order. Let's see. All right, so maybe something in the middle changed. We didn't keep track of. All right, so our intention is to show that, okay, you can do the apply this order by to the whole student when you whole table when you select a star rule. Okay, so that's the next simple query which we want to do this. All right, so once again, if you put it ASC over there, you know what happens, right? Whatever is in the descending order will get converted into the ascending order. But I want to show the ascending as well, because
But now names are not in the descending order now.
No, we are not looking at the name. We are actually looking at the student ID.
Just the student ID. Just the student ID.
Okay, give me a descending order according to the student ID. Only student IDs will be in the descending order. Others will be changed, shuffled according to the student ID. Okay.
So can we do this two columns at the same time, like student ID as well as the name?
Yes, we can do that. I'll come to that. Okay. So before that, I want to show you another option here. So that is, let's see, because I didn't show the ascending at all. Default, it was already in the default case, so we didn't see exactly whether the ascending is happening or not. So some of you may have a doubt. I'll show you that as well. Okay. So select all from student. Oh, my mistake. Enter. Okay. Order by. Let me go to the major and I'll say ascending. Okay. So now already you know that, right? The major is not in the ascending order. All right. So let's see what happens. Yes. It's fine, right? So you look at only the major, right? Because others are shuffled now, right? It has been arranged according to the major. So M comes first, then S, then again S, then T. All right. Right. Now, just now you asked a question. I'm coming to that. All right. So that's why I told we are going to deal with that. Right. So I'm going to the next level. So again, select all from student, and now you see I'll say the order by will give two things, right? So first do the ascending order according to the major. Okay, then you use the student ID and perform this ESC. Right, so let's look at the result and then we'll discuss how this is going to be implemented. Okay, so now you see what happens. It first considers the major. So you can see major comes in the ascending order. So you can see that yes, major is in the ascending order. Then if at all during this major you have two things like Sanskritam repeats twice. Other location, whatever I'm going to tell now is not going to affect, because according to the major you need to solve. That's the first thing. So it performs that. Then it says that also look at the student ID. Okay, so student ID in the sense for major which are same. Example, Sanskritam, right? So in such cases, next set of iterations should happen and you should arrange the student ID also in the ascending. That means only for Sanskritam, wherever it repeats, right? You have to see that this is ascending order 1 and 4. It is not 4 and 1. Okay, so second time that ascending order is being applied for the student ID. All right. Okay, so what's the question? Swapnil says that can we need to select what can I do the changes? Yes, yes, you can select. So we have seen that either when you're doing the update, you have an option to select, right? Or in this case, you don't update anything, you will simply do the sorting. Which particular column you want to sort, you can select. All right. Yes. So I think I answered one of the questions which was asked just now, right? So we'll move ahead. Right. Now, right, you can even do the same thing for a descending order. Let's go for one example because people may have the question about that as well. So, yeah, who is asking the question? Please go ahead.
Sir, whenever time we select student ID fourth, then can we in ascending order fourth ID is in upper side, appear in upper side.
You can see here. Just now you see I think I have selected student ID as ascending order, descending order here. You see student ID you can specify. It will automatically convert that into the descending order, right? All right. I cannot specify from here you do that. That option is not. Okay. So you have to go to a specific, when you say this column, that column gets converted into your requirement, like descending or ascending. All right. So I want to show you the descending as well. So order by. All right. Let me use the same thing maybe. So, all right. Small letter. Major and student ID, right? Descending. Let's run this. Right. First, the major gets converted into the descending order. Is it happening? Order by student ID. No, sorry. What happened? What's something? Let me quickly check this again. Select from student, order by major, and the student ID. Yeah, major should be done, right? Descending order. We don't see why. From student. Any mistake you see here? No, right? Okay. Let me create this once again. I don't know on background something. If something happens, we are not able to trace that. Okay, so I'll delete that. I'll create it once again and I'll just show you that. Okay, so we created that and let's go to this.
So if we remove the semicolons from insert into all of the five will be run at one time to save your time.
No, we actually have something called as only options like run all statements, right? That will run everything. Okay, yeah, as you told.
Semicolon from the five.
Yes. True. Yes, definitely. I will be using that. Okay. Yeah, thank you. And now let me go to this. Let's see what happens. I'm saying student ID and this in the descending order, but it is not considering that. All right. So not very sure. Select all from student. Okay, that's fine. Order by the major, right? And this thing. Okay, in this case, let's do the reverse and see what happens. Okay, I'll just change this. Maybe the interpretation is to be changed. Okay, so let me write this as right. Major first should be descending order, then it will use the. This is what let's see. Okay, what happens? No, the major is there is some issue, right? Others are. Now you see this result is different from the previous result. Okay, but you can see that yes, right on this side. First, the student ID has been set up and it is converted into ascending order, right? And if at all you have something common, right, in the major, that has been converted into the descending order, right? So ascending order comes first, that is the student ID. So according to the student ID, what is the descending? Sorry, student ID in the ascending and major is converted then into the descending order, right? Can you see? So when I don't mention, right, like for the first one, what has to be done? It is taking it in the ascending order, right? Then second one, right, that gets converted into the order which we mentioned, but keeping the same order for the student ID. So when the student, since the student IDs are unique, right, it is not able to change them, because there are two things, like you can see that since the student ID says 2 should come first in according to the ascending order, right, that makes sense that I cannot move the music according to my second request. Yes, yeah, somebody is asking question. Yeah, please go ahead.
But why is student ID not in descending order?
Samskritam, then music.
It's like so when I don't mention, it is assuming the ascending order, right?
No, but we mentioned, right, in statement number 73, order by student ID comma major in descending order.
So for
that is what is the
for a student ID, right? Are you mentioning ascending or descending? Let's try this. Okay. Yes, can you see? So this is applicable for everywhere you apply. So whichever you say, as by default, what is the case? It is ascending. So when you don't mention, right, as I mentioned earlier, it is default case. I don't mention means it is ascending. When you mention something, it will apply. Okay.
Then, sir, but we mentioned again, like student ID descending and major in descending. So first it will go for student ID, and if there is any repetition,
in the major,
that thing will be in.
Yes, perfect.
Otherwise, it will be.
Otherwise, it will not touch that. Okay. All right.
Sir, does that mean that major descending is command is being null?
Sorry, what's the question? Can you come back?
Sir, in this 71 to 73, we said order by student ID descending. Okay. Then we said major by descending, but over here the major is not in descending order.
Major will not come in the descending order. So whatever you mentioned second, right, it will be performed only if there is a repetition, and that can be interchanged. Because if you try to change your major into the descending order, my first preference, this is the first preference, this is the second preference. Okay. So first preference is more weightage. That will change, right? You see, if you try to move, maybe, right, the technology, if you try to move to the top, let's say descending, right, that means this 3 will go to the top, right? That actually violates my first preference. Okay, so that's what is the meaning.
Right, sir.
Right. Now, let's say I want to select, again, it's another version of the select. I want to select few things from okay, it's like all the columns from the table, right? But I want to have a limit. I don't want to see all the 5, 6 or whatever we have. I want to put a limit on that, right? So that is also possible. I want to see few things, right? So that is select all from student, but I'll put a limit. Okay, oh, my mistake. Enter is not working. Sorry. So fine. So limit will write, say I just want to see 3. Okay, please, when you run this, you can see only 3. By default, it will, we don't have an option to show only this. That's not there, right? You have to see only from the top, right? Okay. That's another way of select. Okay. Again, during what you call, you can use a order, right? I can try to do an order. At the same time, I can use a limit, right? You see, I go for ascending order, like who is the maybe something like who has invested highest in something, right? You see that only top 2 or 3 you are interested. You don't want to see the whole table, correct? So you perform ascending, descending order, just see that only top 2, top 3, like that. That's also possible. I'll show you that. All right. So the next one, I'm saying select. I have to mention that I want to see all. Okay. So all from the student. Select all from the student, and I'll also say that order by, apply this, order by, say, okay, student ID. So normally I know that it will be ascending. It's already in the ascending. I'll go for descending. Okay, so descending, and then in the descending order, you just use the limit, and let's say 2. So, right, 5 and 4 is what I can expect now. Okay, I hope that is clear. Let's proceed further. So, next thing, I can actually give a condition as well. I want to, right, select every student who studies a particular subject. Okay, so see that this is how you are going to write. So later on in the later session, I'll try to give a question and you can try to form your answers. Okay, right? We'll go to that as well, like an exercise and learning. All right. So we'll move to that. Before that, we need to know the basic queries for sure, right? So we are going with the basic queries. We'll quickly finish that and we'll go proceed further. Okay. So now my intention is to do this. Select. I'll say all. I want to do that from student, okay, and I want to say that where I want to go for a specific subject, major equal to, right, because I know that in the table I have 2 students studying this subject, so I went with that. Otherwise I'll just get only one answer, right? So, right, you see, it's getting displayed, right? Only depending on a condition you can visualize everything, right? It comes under the select part only, so you are doing the selection. Okay, now I don't want to see everything, right? It's the same command, right? Whatever query I have written, I'll use the same thing, but you see, I don't want to visualize the complete table. All right, so that will be, so you can apply a condition and you can visualize a part of your table by selecting the columns. Okay, so you have to say that select the student name. That's the first thing I want to see, and also I want to see maybe the major, right? Select these 2 things, right, from the student, and right, you have to say that where, give a condition, right, like the same condition I will mention, major equal to Sanskritam. So let's see, it's the same table which we got earlier, but the student ID is not being mentioned here, right? Just you will see the name and the major over here. So you can suggest that what you want to see over here, and right, where is a place where you are going to specify the condition. Okay, so depending on the condition, it will display these things. All right, now let us say you can even put a logical conditions over here. So I'll do the same thing with the what case we have. Okay, so this is something like, okay, let me copy paste, right? That should work. All right, so where see the condition, major equal to this, or major equal to, yeah, so I'll write major equal to different one. Maybe I think we have music somewhere. I saw music. Let's see. Okay, if it's not there, it's not going to come. It will not throw any error. There is no music, I guess. So what's the other term we have? Oh no, music is there, right? Isn't it? No, it's a different older table, I guess, right? No, music is there. Let's check.
91 number line here, sir. I'm missing ID and name. 91 line.
Ah, okay. 91, line number 91. What happened? Sorry.
Sir, so the student ID or name?
Student name. I want to see the student name and the major of
Yes.
those students, right? Okay, this is a mistake. Sorry, you see, previously I didn't put a semicolon. My mistake. Sorry, apologize for that. And you see now I think it should come. All right. Yeah. Okay. So, all right. So you can see that that's how you can select multiple things. And it's another one, right? So whenever you want to say that you want to put a condition over there saying that lesser than, greater than, less than, equal to, not equal to, right? Those things are also possible, right? You with the numerical data we always do this, right? So right, like a salary list is there corresponding to the employees of a company. Whose salary is more than this number, only get me that. Whose number is less than this thing, get me that, etc. So when you do that, this is going to be very helpful. All right.
Sir,
Yes.
sir, I'm not clear. The 79 condition, sir.
Line number 79.
Yeah, line number 79, sir. Can you repeat, sir?
Yeah, sure. So this is actually, and we are trying to order a student ID in the descending order. You are fine with that? The ordering part, descending order, it will come. Okay, in the descending order, show me only first two. Like if it is 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, show only two. That's what is this limit 2. Only show me two. I don't want to see the complete table. Okay, that's all.
Okay, that's why 4 and 5
Yes.
come out, sir.
Yes. I mentioned only two, right? 4, 5, right? If you say 3, 5, 4, 3 will come. Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So
Yes.
it has taken from the main list, not like a past list.
No.
Because
it's the main one. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Got it.
Yes. Sure. So select all. Right. I want to show you something now. Select all. Select all from student. But now you see the condition I'm going to apply. Okay. So that is where major. See, I want to say that I want to see all the students, right? I want to see all the students whose subject is not a particular subject, right? So where major, see the not equal to is this one. Okay? So not equal to, only not equal to is difficult, otherwise all are same, less than, greater than, etc. All right. So not equal to Sanskritam. All right. So other than Sanskritam, we should see our students, right? So there were 5. 2 of them were having Sanskritam over there. Others are being so not equal to can be applied. Now I'll show you the greater than, lesser than as well. Okay. So once again, I'm going to do the same thing. Select all from student. Okay. Now I'll give a condition where, right, student ID is lesser than 4. All right, let's see. It comes. So 1, 2, 3, they are lesser than 4. Okay, right. So like that you can apply. Right? When you get time, please go through this in detail. You try everything possible. All right. Yeah. Who is the question? Yes, Swapnil.
Sir, if I want to be changes in past data, so how can we changes this?
You want to change the data, right? You want to change the entries over there, right? What is already been entered, isn't it? That's what is your question?
Yeah, in past data.
Yeah, already entered data is there. You want to change that, right? Changes in the data, right? Looking at a column or row, you want to change, isn't it? That's your question?
Yes, sir.
Okay, it's already covered. There is a part we just covered, update, right? How to update the data which is already present, right? So we already have covered that. Maybe when you get a time, go through this video once again, you'll be able to get that answer. Once you get a material, go through that, run that code by yourself, right? You will be able to understand. Okay, fine. Let me move ahead. the next thing is, all right, I can also use another keyword called in. It is whatever I'm looking for should be in something, right? I'll show you that. Okay, so this is select everything, right? Again, I'll say that from student, right? Now the condition you see, I'll use another keyword. Okay, so where it will work with a small also, but I prefer following the same convention, that's all. Where the student name, you see the keyword I'm using is in. It changed the color because that also gets recognized by this SQL. So I'll specify okay, either the name should be like this, or it can also be any other name, right? Let's see. Give me the details of these students. By the name, if you know, you can definitely access that, right? So something like that. That's the example, right? Complete details will be given, including the student ID, student name, and the major, right? Let's proceed further. Right, now I'll try to bring in, say, I'll try to club few conditions, and I'll try to access that, right? So this is another way of doing the query. Select all, from the student, and I'll put a condition like where the major is one of them, right? So major in, let me write this is one. Anyway, we understand that what's going to happen with this. In addition to this, I'll add a and condition to this, and right, I want to check that who all have, in addition to this condition, student ID, right? I want to put a condition, it has to be greater than or equal to 3, right? So like greater than, less than, I already have shown, right? So greater than, equal to, less than, equal to, etc. can also be used. All right, so let's check this, right? It should be greater than 3. So 3, 4, 5 are considered, but the subjects should be either of these. So technology or something. So fifth one is not belonging to that. That's why it is not. Okay, write that. All right. Okay, so now